Of course not. You know, I mean, Twitter and Facebook, honestly, they're not even trying anymore. That's the embarrassing thing about all of this. They put out, after this happened, and conservatives rightfully went nuts responding to Twitter, calling them out for what they were doing. Twitter sat around for 6 or 8 hours thinking about how they were going to try and cover their butts with this story. And they came out with this, basically. They say Twitter doesn't allow distribution of content obtained without authorization. So basically that means Twitter will not allow anybody to post any information that comes from leaked content that wasn't authorized to be put out there. Well, that is the Trump tax story that exploded on Twitter just a few weeks ago, and Twitter couldn't have cared less. It's just simple at this point. They're only looking at stories that can hurt Republicans, or they're not looking at those. Anything that can hurt a Democrat, they're going to very much look over, and they're going to protect as much as they can. The head of their site integrity is this guy, Yoel Roth, who came into the news a few weeks ago as well. This guy is an unapologetic liberal. Yeah. I mean, he absolutely hates conservatives, and he is the guy running the show in this department, making these decisions, deciding which tweets to come down, deciding what to censor. He's the guy making the choices, and they don't care. I don't think they care how this looks.
Yeah, hey, look.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, look, here on the Salcedo Show, we've said, look, it's okay for these left-wing Twitter and Facebook to be a bunch of anti-American left-wing kooks. That's perfectly legal. But they've got to disclose that to their customers, and they've got to get rid of this 230 exemption. Let me move on to the press, because they're just as bad. They have perfected what Twitter and Facebook are just now getting into. Yeah. This blackout around the nation's newsrooms of this story. And all of a sudden, ABC, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, the Washington Post, they grow a conscience. Oh, we must vet this every 3 ways from Sunday, when they just went with the New York Times piece and took the New York Times word for it. It's hypocrisy to the nines, right?
It's painful. The standards absolutely disappear when it comes to a story about Republicans. They don't care at all. But if it's about Democrats, I mean, they teach you in journalism school, and the standards that all of these companies used to stand by 20, 30 years ago were that any story you come out with, you had to independently verify. Nobody had independent verification of the Trump tax story. They just took the New York Times, whatever they had, and they just stuck it right on their page. They sourced the New York Times, and that's their verification. They didn't get any independent verification, and they rarely do anymore. The rules of journalism have about evaporated, and all of these places are just picking sides. Most of them are supporting the left, and that's just it, and they couldn't care less. And then when this story comes out, all of a sudden, they've got to protect Joe Biden. We've got these town halls tonight. I am so curious whether or not George Stephanopoulos is going to come out and somehow lead a discussion about what has come out today. I know it's a town hall, so obviously the people in the town hall are going to be asking the questions. But it's like, how do you ignore something like this? And also, when you were talking about 230, let me just slide in real quick. Clarence Thomas today, Supreme Court Justice, took a shot at 230, and he says that he wants the Supreme Court to look at whether or not it too broadly protects all of these tech companies. That's going to be very interesting to see what they come up with.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.